Okay, we are live. My name is Attorney Vincent Davis, and this is The Secret: How to Fight CPS and Win. I'm joined this morning by our special guest, uh, Miss Tammy. Is it Olam?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, Miss Olam. So this is a CPS show. I suspect that you've had some interaction with CPS. Could you tell us? First of all, where are you from?
I'm from West Virginia, Charleston, West Virginia.
Okay, all right, Charleston. There's a Charleston, South Carolina, right? And a Charleston, West Virginia.
There is.
Okay, very good. What county is that in West Virginia?
Actually, I'm from Kanawha County. Gosh, I've lived here about all my life. So,
Okay, so tell us your story about CPS.
well, I am 54 years old, and I have two grandchildren that belong to my son, who is incarcerated. And I've had the oldest one is 8, and the youngest one just turned a year old the 23rd of this month. And like I said, I have legal guardianship of the oldest one. And then, of course, like I said, I got the youngest one also. Um, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, somebody comes knocking on my door. And well, first I got a phone call and asked me to come down to a place to. She had some questions for me, and it was supposedly was a CPS worker. So I went down, and when I did, she told me that if I did not immediately, right now, do her drug screen, that they were going to take my children immediately and put them in foster care. And I was like, you know what? I didn't, kind of scared, didn't know what was going on. I was like, sure, do you want, however you want me to do it. So um, I asked her for a court order because she said there was a court order or something. And I asked her for the papers. And of course, she wouldn't show them to me. So, but anyway, I done the drug screen and it come back inconclusive. But after we went to the court hearing, it was supposedly said that they administered 2 drug screens, and one of them come back with all these drugs in it. And so they come to my home and they made me leave my home and said, of course, if I didn't, they were going to take my kids, put them in foster care. I wouldn't be able to see them. So my parents is the one who has them, and they are in, you know, her care now, both of them. And this is still kind of an ongoing case. It's been 7 months. I only had one hearing since then. In this meantime, actually, we had our first hearing actually just recently, and all of a sudden, I have a new judge, and the person who filed the petition is no longer employed there. They have terminated her for some reason. Um, but yet, I haven't seen my kids or been with my kids for 7 months.
You haven't
So,
had any visitation?
actually, I had visitation, and they said, of course, before in order to uh, have visitation, I had to pass 3 drug screens. Well, I did that, and they took my visits anyway. So they signed me up for this to have a psychiatric evaluation, which I took that. Um, they were supposed to have the doctor come and go over the results or whatever the case may be. Well, there wasn't no doctor with results. It was, you need to see our therapist. You need to go to outpatient rehab. You need to go to a domestic violence class. You need to take parenting classes, and you need to be drug screened 3 times a week. And I said, okay. And I do this and work a full-time job too. How is this going to be possible? Well, it was told to me, what's more important, a job or your kid? Well, without my job, I can't support my kids. Without my job, I have no home. So it's been, truthfully, it's been nothing but a mess. I mean, they have violated my constitutional rights. There's been no due process here whatsoever. Um, it's been a nightmare, actually a nightmare.
Do you have an attorney?
Yes, I have a court appointed attorney, which, of course, that's says the word court appointed. It's working for the court. He doesn't work for me. Anything that I suggest or say that I want done, it doesn't get done. He kind of just, he says, comply, do with what the judge's plan, do what follow the judge's plan. That's what I hear.
Have you gone and spoken to any other attorneys, perhaps for a consultation?
Well, I started to do that, but the ones that are actually maybe halfway decent would be to, you know, a lot of money right now that I don't have. So as far as court appointed, I actually had two lawyers that I had started paying for and ended up having to get rid of them because it's like everybody here in this small, in Charleston, it's like they just work together. It's like they all know each other. They're all buddies. They all know each other. And it's very corrupt, very corrupt. We
Have you
are the
thought about
second. I'm sorry.
have you thought about going out of Charleston, but in West Virginia, to find a lawyer?
Yes, I have considered that. That is my next. I'm actually seeing what's going to happen with this because all of a sudden, like I said, I've got a new judge now. Don't know why. And like I said, the person who filed the petition is no longer employed, so we have filed for a dismissal due to that's their that's their only credible witness that they had. So, and supposedly, like I said, she wasn't even really a witness, but as far as so I'm going to see what happens there, and if that's what I need to do, I'm going to take it as far as I have to take it. I will take it to Supreme Court. I will take it. I will fight it till I get my kids back.
When is the next court hearing?
Actually, they're supposed to schedule one in the next 3 to 5 days because the judge then will give us his ruling.
Oh, so the motion has already been filed?
Everything's been filed. We're waiting. Like I said, I know the reason I think she was terminated was because something she's done in my case that was not right. Okay, and so we are filing a paper for proof of they call it freedom of what is it
Freedom
oh
of information?
yes, yes. So I told my lawyer to file a paper, do something, because I believe that the reason she is terminated is because of my case. And so we did that, and the judge is now waiting to hear back. That's why the decision hasn't been made. We're waiting on the judge to come back with his, decision. And if, they come back, come and tell them something, they're supposed to write a letter stating why she was, terminated and this kind of stuff. So,
Well, it seems like, things are moving forward on your case right now.
yes, actually, I've done a lot of research these 7 months. I have learned the laws in West Virginia. I have, you name it. I mean, I've actually sat and studied online to learn it. You know what I'm saying? Because here, nobody will exercise their rights. I mean, nationwide, we are number two. West Virginia is number two ranked for not having their kids. And we're a little state. We're just, you know what I'm saying? We're tiny and we're ranked second. And that's because people don't know to fight back. They don't know what their rights are for CPS or what they can do to fight back. They let them in and comply. And a lot of times they don't get their children back.
Just out of
So
curiosity, who's number one?
I think it was New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I said, it was
Interesting.
West Virginia. I couldn't believe that we were ranked number two. I was really surprised, to be honest with you. I was really surprised because we are such a small state that people actually confuse us of not being a West Virginia, just being western of Virginia. See, but I'm like, no, we're a state, but we're small. We're small, but there's more corruption here than you could only imagine.
Not necessarily now, but do you mind posting that link with has all the states ranked?
I'll do that. I sure will. I'll
You
have to
know,
go
I
on and go ahead.
um what's the number one thing that you would recommend to people who are just getting involved or getting involved with CPS?
The first thing that I would say is if CPS comes up and they knock on your door, do not let them in. Do not. That is the first, because they're not there to help you. They're there to take your kids. And that's the
You
truth.
I tell that to so many people, but yet so many people don't believe that.
No, they don't. They think because they come and say, and which I mean, I believed it too at first. I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to take my kids. Well, let me tell you, they can't take your kids without a warrant. The police, 9 chances out of 10, if they go to the police, they're not going to get a warrant because you haven't committed a crime. There's been no crime committed. So don't let them in. If they come to your door, step outside and talk to them, but do not let them in and give them a reason to find something on you, because they will. And
What
we do it to ourselves a lot. We answer too much, say too much.
what if they come to your house and they have a warrant?
Well, if they have a warrant, I mean, you have to let them in. But as far as will they take your kids, truthfully, no. If it's not criminal, they're not going to take your kids because they're not going to take you to jail. So the main thing is don't comply, don't give in, don't get, give them a tour of your home, don't volunteer information, make them do their job. Because in my case, they haven't talked to the school, the teacher actually reached out to me and said, is there a judge or somebody that I can write a letter to? And this teacher helped me. And of course, in my hearing, I was told, oh, well, you're not allowed to talk about this outside. This is a closed courtroom. Well, constitutional rights, it's not supposed to be closed. Nothing is closed. But I'm not allowed to tell anybody about it. But the judge actually took up for me and said, you know what, overruled, because the teacher reached out to her, she didn't reach out to the teacher.
Right.
So
In California, they have a similar rule, but you can talk about the case. You just can't mention the children's names. You can
right.
mention your name if you want, but the whole scheme of protection in California is to protect the child. So, a lot of people talk about the case, they just don't mention the child's name. I don't know if it's like that in your state, but every state is a little bit different. They have a little twist on it. So I don't know
Yeah,
if
they
that's the
they
same.
hear, they don't like you talking about it at all. No names, no court. They don't. It's not supposed to leave the courtroom itself. So, which, like I said, this, there again, there's our constitutional rights. There's freedom of speech. There's no closed hearings. There's a due process, and that's one thing with CPS. There is a due process that they have to follow. But guess what? They don't. They don't. And as long as you allow it to go on and let them get by with it, they're going to do it. We have to start exercising our rights as citizens, standing up to these people and saying, "Hey, you're not going to take my kids. You're not." You know, and we don't. We get scared. We comply. We do what they want because we don't want to lose our kids. But you know what? We already have. They've already taken my kids. I mean, what can they do to me now? They've taken my kids. I don't get to see them. So, I mean, what could they possibly do now? Nothing. They've done the worst. The worst thing they could do, they've done.
Hold on a second. Have you ever thought about the fact that a lot of people don't fight?
Yeah, they don't fight. That's the problem. Yeah.
But why?
Why don't they? Because I think they're scared. They're scared to, because I mean, when you go in this courtroom and it's closed, everybody that you see in there are against you. Okay. You have nobody that has your back, or to help you. You know what I'm saying? You think it would be your lawyer, but it's not your lawyer because he's working with them. So there's nobody in there that works with you. So we're scared. You know what I'm saying? We're scared. We think, oh, we're going to lose them forever. What if we don't get them back? But the chances of that happening with you complying is just as well as if you don't. I mean, you can't doubt yourself. You can't let people make you be somebody that you're not. And that's what they did to me. The person that they described in that courtroom and talked about, that wasn't me. That was not me. And that's what I said. You know what? I'm not going to comply anymore. I mean, my background is clean. There is nothing. I have no DUI, no felony charges, no drug charges, no nothing. Clean as a whistle.
Did
And
they did they ask did they ask you to come in your house at the very beginning?
she knocked at the door, yes, and wanted to come in my home, and I told her no. And my parents were there and said, they're the ones who ended up saying yes because they were scared to death that, because she said, I'm going now to get a warrant and I will take those kids out of there and you will never see them again. They will go straight into foster care. And, my dad, being as old as he is, panicked and was scared that he wasn't going to see his grandbabies. And I kept saying, don't let them in, don't let them in. But it was too late. And like I said, once they get in the door, honey, it's done. I had to leave my home that same day. Same day they come in, I had to leave with nowhere to go. Here I was homeless, but yet I had to get up for work and work a job. So it cost me my job. I mean, it was a mess. I mean, my life laid there in a thousand pieces, and I had no clue how to put it back together. What to do? What do I do next? What do you do? And that's when I thought, no one's going to help me. So I started doing research.
Have you considered the possibility of wrongdoing by the social worker and suing the state or county?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That's one thing that I decided that, I mean, because even the person that filed this complaint, the CPS worker, her supervisor herself told me to take it as far as I could take it. That's what needed to be done. So I'm definitely going to do it because what they did to me is wrong. And I know there are so many more people out there like me. I mean, I'm not the only one, even though I felt I was. I'm thinking, why would this happen to me? Why? Where did it come from? I haven't even figured that part of it out because I mean, I'm a good mom. I've raised two kids of my own. You know what I'm saying? And I've had, like I said, my one grandchild for 8 years, and here comes this new baby. And, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I couldn't believe that it happened to me. I never thought it would be me.
So you never learned where the allegations came from?
Um, what I was told, it's really weird down here. Like, my one granddaughter resides out of Kanawha County, but the youngest one that I just recently got was through Clay County. So I'm going through two different jurisdictions, two counties, um, where I go to Clay County and I can't get anything from the courts. I can't find out because the lady had told me, the CPS worker, that I wasn't allowed to attend the hearing in Clay County. So I received no documentation, no certified letters, nothing that said anything about a hearing going on or what the allegations were. They placed her with me, but they never gave me letters where they took her from me.
So
So
you're
it's
involved. You're involved in two different cases.
yes, and they're siblings.
Do you have a case? Well, first of all, ask your attorney about making a motion to consolidate those cases, if you
They
can do
did.
that in West Virginia. And what happened?
Um, the the judge supposedly said no, he didn't want to put them together. Why? I don't know, because like I said, they wouldn't even let me attend the hearing. I didn't even know about the hearing. I got no papers, no nothing.
Did you make a? Did you appeal that decision?
Well, yeah, I don't even, truthfully, they wouldn't tell me anything about it. I went to Clay County myself in person and went there I wanted to talk to somebody. I wanted to see the paperwork. I wanted to see our file. Do you know, they refused to let me see this. They told me that I could just go ahead and leave and that they would get a hold of me in the next 2 days. That they were really confused themselves. They didn't know what was going on.
Well, here's a
And
strategy. Here's a strategy that should be implemented.
okay.
The grandparents who have the child, the at least one child now, do they have one or two?
They actually have both, but the youngest one
Okay.
they've placed with the neighbor right now because they're older, and she's young. She just turned a year old. So, but yeah, they're right next door together. They're still together there.
Wait a minute. So are the kids living with the grandparents or not?
Well, no. Well, one of them is, but the other one lives next door with the neighbor. Is this not crazy? This is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
Crazy.
that's interesting.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Have what I would suggest is that you have a meeting with your attorney and decide, a strategy that will help you out on both cases. Because in my opinion, now I'm not a West Virginia legal expert. I'm not licensed there. I'm only licensed in California. But from what I learned in law school, these cases should be consolidated and heard in one place, because the exact opposite of the judge in the other county. And how could you have two different judicial findings about one incident or transaction?
I totally agree. I totally agree. But I'm telling you, these attorneys here are, I have tried to even set an appointment up with him. And guess what? I don't get the appointment. Only time I see this lawyer of mine is the day of court.
Hmm.
So I mentioned before that it should be consolidated. There should only be one. You know what I'm saying? But they won't even tell me nothing about the Clay County case. I can't get any information whatsoever on it.
Well, you might have to make a motion to intervene or file some type of modification motion to get your foot in the door there, a motion for some type of standing. You have to talk to a lawyer about doing that.
See, I was told because I was going to do the, file a paper to intervene, but they said that I wasn't allowed to do that because I have an ongoing case with CPS.
Who told you? When you say they, who's
Hmm.
they? Who told you that?
The courthouse people, the courthouse there in Clay County told me that I couldn't do it, and so did
Hold
the
on a
lady
second.
from CPS.
Hold on a second. So courthouses don't talk. Who? Don't tell me name, but tell me titles. Who told you that?
The I guess she's the clerical, the one that answers the phone. The
Okay, so she's not a lawyer,
mm-mm,
right?
no,
She's not a judge. And I'm not sure I would take her word as gospel. I would confirm with my attorney or another attorney whether that's true or not. In
okay,
California, that wouldn't be true. Now,
okay,
it may be a basis for you not winning, the fact that you have an open case, but you filing, that's a whole different story,
okay,
right?
okay. I'll do that then. Yes, yes, that sounds great. I just couldn't understand because with CPS placing her with me and everything, going through the home plan, everything was done. Then they turn back around and take her, 6 months later and not even telling me, and they took them the same time.
Right.
So I don't even understand if one was they both were taken because one was taken, they both go, or if it's because of something in Clay County, if it's and I mean, and trying to get information even from your CPS worker. No, you're not getting it. Even my parents have tried to get information. They won't tell them nothing.
Yeah.
This is the most weirdest thing I've ever been through.
Have you heard any videos or shows that I've done where I said you can make a complaint to the federal government?
I did watch one that was talking about that.
So have
And
you considered doing that?
I actually got papers. They're supposed to be mailing me the papers to fill out as we speak.
Good. So there's two of them. There's Department of Health and Human Services
Okay.
and the U.S. Justice Department Civil Rights Division.
That's the one
Okay.
I actually contacted was the
The Justice Department.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so go ahead and Google Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay.
I think the form is online, but if not, you can call them and they'll send you the form as well.
Okay. Okay.
And a lot of people think that those complaints don't have teeth, and I would beg to disagree. It's not that they choose or investigate every case, but the ones that they do choose, they can put some definite hurt on CPS in your state.
Now, is it true what I read about like that they will only take so many cases per year or something?
I don't know.
Okay,
Okay.
because I read something. I think it was three or something like that, three of them a year or something in that sort.
Yeah, I don't know, but I wouldn't let me stop from filing my
Oh
complaint.
no, no, definitely not, definitely not.
Were there any other questions you had for me, Tammy?
Oh, so definitely go after I get the paper from the justice. Then go to do the DHR too. Do that service too and file papers with them also.
It's DHHS,
DHHS. Okay. Okay.
Department of Health and Human. No,
Service.
Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay. DHHS. Okay. Okay. And is there anything else you could suggest that maybe would help me, or anything else that I
N-
may need to do to?
Not that I can think of at this time.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you having me and listening to my story and the
Well,
advice. I'll definitely take in consideration for sure.
well, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate that, and I wish you the best of luck. Keep in touch with us, okay?
I
Maybe you
will
can
definitely do that. I will
come
definitely
back
do that.
on.
Let you know the outcome.
Yes, definitely come back on the show and tell us. All right, Tammy. Well, thank you again. Have a good day. We'll see everybody tomorrow on Sunday's show at 9:30 a.m. Goodbye and have a good day. Bye bye.